ॐ शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानामेकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्ज सम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करश्रजं வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. வாகர்த்தாவிவ சம்பிருக்தௌ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே ஜகதः பிதரௌ வந்தே பார்வதி பரமேஸ்வரௌ. ஸ்ரீ பார்வதி பரமேஸ்வராभ्यां நமः. कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी द्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने. കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചനാനിന്നോടായി. ഇതിനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ടാത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കെന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so we'll continue with Dashakam 30 today, and then we'll also try to finish 31, the Vamana Avatar. So let me just see, maybe first half.
Good morning, Rajesh.
Good morning. Gayatri, you can be a student, and Bhuvana, you can be a student first half. So Dashakam 30, we stopped at stanza 5, so we'll start from stanza 6. तावत् प्रजापतिमुखैरुपनीयमौञ्जी दण्डाजिनाक्षबलयादिभिरर्च्यमानः देदीप्यमानवपुरीशकृताग्निकार्यः त्वं प्रास्थिता बलिगृहं प्रकृताश्वमेधम्. So 2 weeks back when we were seeing this, we were seeing how after that Amritamatana, all of that happened when the Devas got that Amritam. So now they can live for a long time, they won't age and all that. Somehow Bali Maharaja, who was helped out by Shukracharya, he then started becoming powerful over a period of time. And then he started performing this, lot of yajnams and everything, because of which he started getting power. So at that time, because the Devas were becoming weak, so Aditi requested Kashyapa to say, how do I have a son who can actually help the Devas? So at the time, she did the Payovrata, and so because of which, to Aditi and Kashyapa, the Lord then incarnated as Vamana. Vamana means a dwarf. So it's not the name, because he was like a small height wise, he was very small. He was called as Vamana, right? So he wasn't born, but the moment he was born, we saw how he was born with the Chaturbhujam. And as I said, we'll cover that later in the 38th Dashakam also. So anyway, so once he was born, so the moment he was born, so all these Devas, Brahma, everybody came because they recognized that the Lord has taken incarnation. So they all came to pray. But instantly, he was not born as a small baby. He then immediately became like a small boy who was like a brahmachari, who was ready for Upanayana. He kind of became that age, so 7 or 8, some age like that. The age is not explicitly mentioned, but something like that, right? So the first, before anything happens, right, Kashyapa decided that I need to perform Upanayanam for this brahmachari. So at that time, because it is the Lord's Upanayanam, Bhagwan's Upanayanam, so it talks about, Bhagavatam talks about how everybody came. So it says the Gayatri mantra was uttered by Surya Bhagavan. Brihaspati himself, who's the guru, he came and gave the sacred thread, he came and gave the punal. Then Kashyapa Muni offered something. Brahma offered him the water part, because all these brahmacharis, they carry the kamandalu. So Brahma offered that. The Saraswati then gave him Rudraksha beads. So it talks about how everybody, Mother Earth came and gave a deer skin. It talks about how everybody came and then gave different things for the brahmachari, who then was, who then became, who finished his Upanayanam. So the first task, now some of these avatarams, like this Vamana avataram especially, is called as a Leela avataram, because the incarnation's purpose is only one. There's only one purpose for the incarnation. So the Lord Bhagavan doesn't come and grow for a long time, wait for a lot of things to happen. He comes for a specific purpose. So here his purpose was, Bali Maharaja was going to be performing the 100th Ashwamedha Yajna. So the Indra is just a post. Anybody can become an Indra. It's just like a president, it's a title. So whoever performs 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas can take the post of Indra. So Bali was about to perform his 100th Ashwamedha Yajna, and once he completes it, then he then replaces the current Indra who was there. So which, of course, a lot of these people did not want, Brahmana did not want, right? That's why the Lord incarnated. So he said, okay, I am now immediately going to go and let me see how do I prevent Bali from completing the 100th Ashwamedha Yajna. So he then Vamana then desired to proceed towards a place where the 100th Ashwamedha Yajna was happening. So Tavat Prajapati Mukhair Upaniya, you can break at the Ra if you want. Mukhair Upaniya Maunji, long E, put a plus. Dandajinaksha Valayadi Bhirachyamanaha. That's one word. Valayadi Bhirachyamanaha. So those two lines are together. Dedipya Mana Vapurisha Kritagni Karyaha, put a visarga. So Kritagni means one who is performing the fire sacrifice. So anyone who does Supanayanam, they have to perform Samidadhanam, which is the Agni Hotram they have to do, which is what he does. So Kritagni Karyaha, put a visarga comma. Next line, the is goes away. Tvam Prastita Baligriham Prakritashwamedham. तावत् प्रजापतिमुखैरुपनीयमौञ्जी दण्डाजिनाक्षवलयादिभिरर्च्यमानः देदीप्यमानवपुरीशकृताग्निकार्यः त्वं प्रास्थिता बलिगृहं प्रकृताश्वमेधम्.
तावत् प्रजापतिमुखैरुपनीयमौञ्जी दण्डाजिनाक्षवलयादिभिरर्ष्यमाणः ते दिव्यमानवपुरीशकृदाग्नि कार्यः त्वं प्रास्थिता बलिगृहं प्रकृताश्वमेधम्. तावत् प्रजापति मुकैरूपनीय मौञ्जी दण्डाजिनाक्षवलयादिभिरर्ष्यमाणः ते दिव्यमानवपुरीश कृदाग्निकार्यः त्वं प्रास्थिता बलिगृहं प्रकृताश्वमेधम्.
Correct. That remember the word Ashwamedham. That's the second half of that word. So Prakritaashwamedham.
प्रकृताश्वमेधम्.
तावत् प्रजापतिमुखैरुपनीयमौञ्जी दण्डाजिनाक्षवलयादिभिरर्च्यमानः देदीप्यमानवपुरीशकृताग्निकार्यः त्वं प्रास्थिता बलिगृहं प्रकृताश्वमेधम्.
Oh, 2 times, Puna.
तावत् प्रजापतिमुखैरुपनीयमौञ्जी दण्डाजिनाक्षवलयादिभिरर्च्यमानः देदीप्यमानवपुरीशकृताग्निकार्यः त्वं प्रास्थिता बलिगृहं प्रकृताश्वमेधम्.
That's a 7.
ராஜேஷ்
Gatre.
இது வந்து கிருதாக்னிகாரியஸ்துவம் அப்படின்னும் படிக்கலாம்ல?
இல்ல we are taking a pause there. Kritagni karyaha. On that we are putting a comma there. That's the end of that line. So that's where the is goes away. If you're saying it together, then that is remains. But because we are pausing at the end of that line, that is goes away and the visarga comes there. Kritagni
இல்ல, my
karyaha.
question is அதை சேர்த்து சொல்லலாம் இல்லையான்னு தான் கேக்குறேன். கிருதாக்னிகாரியஸ்தவம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாமா இல்ல சொல்லக்கூடாது?
I mean, Cholalana, you can say both. You can say both the lines together. Technically, you can say both the lines together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But inge we won't. So another when you're saying inge, you don't say that because to be consistent. But otherwise, you technically you can say all those things together. Yes. Stanza 7. Gatrena bhavi mahimochita gauravam prak vyavrinvate vadharanim chalayan nayasihi chatram paroshmatiranartamivadadhano dandam jadana vajane shivasannidhatum. So this is just talking about as Vamana is going towards the place where the Ashwamedha Yajnam is happening. So as Vamana means small, right? So it's just a dwarf, a small sized person walking. Says although despite you being very small, as you were walking, the entire earth was shaking. It's an indicator of what is going to be coming later. So don't underestimate this Vamana because of his size. Just because he's small doesn't mean he's small in strength or power or anything. He's just small in size right now. And then, this the people who do the Upanayinam, they then carry this. You see all these saints carrying a staff, right? Like a stick that they carry. So Vamana was carrying that, and he was also carrying an umbrella. So Bhattacharya is saying, you are carrying that staff to indicate what is going to happen to the Asuras later. Because when you're going to beat this, that's an indicator, and you're carrying the heat to ward off all the enemies, right? So it's just Vamana is walking towards the Ashwamedha Yajnam where it is happening. Where it is happening will come in the next stanza. So Ghatrena Bhavi Mahimochita Gauravam Prak. Put a ik sound, K. Prak, comma. Next line, at least in my book, you have a ig. That ig will go away. So it becomes Vyavrinvateva Dharanim Chalayenna Yasihi Chatram Paroshmati Ranartham Ivadadhano. If you want to break it, Ranartham Ivadadhano, comma. Dandam cha danava janeshviva sannidhatum. Gatrena bhavi mahimochita gauravam prake vyavrinvateva dharanim chalayan nayasihi chatram paroshmati ranartam ivadadhano dandam cha danava janeshviva sannidhatum.
गात्रेण भावि महिमोचित गौरवं प्राक् व्यावृण्वदेव धरणिं चलयन्नयासीः छत्रं परोष्मतिरणात्मिवादधानो दण्डं च दानव जनेष्विव सन्निधातुं गात्रेण भावि महिमोचितगौरवं प्राक् व्यावृण्वदेवधरणीं चलयन्नयासीः छत्रं परोष्मदि रणात् रणात् रणात्मिव मिव दधानो दण्डं च दानवजनेष्विव सन्निधातुम्.
Gayatri, in the third line, Ranartham Ibadhadhano.
Okay, Ranartham Ivadadano. Okay.
Correct. That's the easier way to say that, yes.
Okay.
गात्रेण भावि महिमोचितगौरवं प्राक् व्यावृण्वतेव धरणीं चलयन्नयासीः छत्रं परोष्मतिरणार्तमिवादधानो दण्डं च दानवजनेष्विव सन्निधातुम् गात्रेण भावि महिमोचितगौरवं प्राक् व्यावृण्वतेव धरणीं चलयन्नयासीः छत्रं परोष्मतिरणार्तमिवादधानो दण्डं च दानवजनेष्विव सन्निधातुम्.
That's 8. तां नर्मदोत्तरतटे हयमेधशालाम् आसे दुषित्वयि रुचा तव रुद्धनेत्रैः भास्वान् किमेष दहनोऽनुसनत्कुमारो योगीनुकोऽयमिति शुक्रमुखैः शशङ्के. So as this Vamana is walking like a young Brahmin boy, he is wearing this belt which is made up of the grass or the straw. He's having his, his maunji, his punal. He's having an upper thing which is made up of deer skin. He has this matted hair because he's a brahmachari right now. So as he enters this banks of the river Narmada, it says, right? Now we have to imagine this need not be the Narmada river that we know as today, because this thing is happening before, this is happening at the beginning, right? Or so many thousands of years back, that this could also be happening in a different world, because some of these rivers like the Ganges, Narmada and all are also there in other planets where the demigods are there. So this need not be happening in the earthly plane. So don't assume that. But it doesn't say whether it happens in earth or some other place, but it says on the banks of the river Narmada. That's where the Ashwamedha Yajna is happening. So as Vamana approaches the banks of the Narmada river, as he approaches that place where the Ashwamedha Yajna is happening, all the people who are assembled there, so Bali Maharaja, Shukracharya, all the Asuras who are there, see, they have also performed 99 Ashwamedha Yajnas, right? So he is also extremely powerful. He also has a lot of tejas in him. But the moment Vamana walks in, all these people are surprised, because he sees the brightness, the tejas that is actually coming from Vamana. Everybody is taking a pause. They're saying that their own luster is beginning to go down because of the luster which is coming out from Vamana, that they all immediately naturally feel like getting up from their seat, because they think somebody great has come for sure. Although it's like a small boy, somebody great has come. And then they're asking, is this Bhaswan? Is it the sun god himself who has actually come to our arena? Or is this fire, Agni? Has Agni come here instead of the sun god? Or is it the Sanat Kumaras who are so Tejasvis? So they are all wondering, who is this person who's actually come here? Because that person has so much Tejas in them that it is actually kind of sucking up the entire area, right? Because of the power that Vamana is exhibiting as a small boy. So Tham Narmado Taratate Hayameda Shalam. Put the im at the end of that line, comma, Shalam. Next line, the Mase Dushi becomes Ase Dushi. So Ase Dushi Toi Rucha Tava Ruddha Netraihi Bhaswan Kimesha Dahano Nu Sanat Kumaro, comma, Yoginu Koyamiti Shukra Mukaish Shashanke. So Shukracharya, everybody are beginning to wonder who this is. Tam Narmadottarate Hayamedhashalam Ase Dushittvai Ruchata Varuddha Netraihi Bhaswan Kimesha Dahanonu Sanat Kumaro Yogi Nukoyamiti Shukra Mukai Shashanke.
तान्नर्मदोत्तरदडे हयमेधशालाम् आसे दुषी त्वयिरुचा तव रुद्रनेत्रैः भास्वान् किमेष दगनोनु सनत्कुमारो योगिनुकोऽयमिति शुक्रमुखैः शशङ्के.
Gayatri, the second line, last word is Ruddha, not Rudra. Ruddha Netrai.
Yeah, sure.
Double the, yeah.
Ruddha, okay. तां नर्मदोत्तरतटे हयमेधशालाम् आसेतुषी त्वयि रुचा तव रुद्धनेत्रैः बाष्पन् किमेष दहनोऽनुसनत्कुमारो योगिनुकोऽयमिति शुक्रमुखैः शशङ्के.
Shukramukaish Shashanke.
शुक्रमुखैः शशङ्के.
तां नर्मदोत्तरतटे हयमेधशालाम् आसेदुषित्वयि रुचा तव रुद्धनेत्रैः भास्वान् किमेष दहनोऽनुसनत्कुमारो योगिनुकोऽयमिति शुक्रमुखैः शशङ्के. तां नर्मदोत्तरतटे हयमेधशालाम् आसेदुषित्वयि रुचा तव रुद्धनेत्रैः भास्वान् किमेष दहनोऽनुसनत्कुमारो योगिनुकोऽयमिति शुक्रमुखैः शशङ्के.
Stanza 9. आनीतमाशुभृगुभिर्महसाभिभूतैः त्वां रम्यरूपमसुरः पुलकावृताङ्गः भक्त्या समेत्य सुकृती परिनिज्य पादौ तत्तोऽयमन्वधृतमूर्धनि तीर्थतीर्थम्. So when Bali Maharaja also saw this Vamana coming there, like he had this, the horripilation all over his body, right? So he was like, they all felt this is somebody special. Although they had no idea who it was, they felt, so they automatically felt like giving respect to this person. Like when some great saint walks, so we can immediately recognize that person, right? So similarly here, Bali Maharaja, Shukracharya, all of them welcome Vamana, and then they offer him a seat. And Bali Maharaja then actually goes and washes his feet because he's like, he respects Brahmins, he's performing this yajna. So he thinks some great personality has come to bless my yajna. So Bali Maharaja then washes the feet of Vamana, and then it says, Tattoyam, that water which was washed, he then sprinkles on his head. Bali Maharaja is sprinkling it on his head, which is because it is the most purest of water, the water which has touched the feet of Bhagavan. Bali Maharaja is sprinkling on his head, which is and because they all recognize this is some great person who has actually come here. And they are thrilled to kind of welcome this person here. So, Anita Mashu Bhrigubhir Mahasabhibhutaihi. Put a visarga comma. Mahasabhibhutaihi, comma. Next line, that is goes away. Twam Ramya Rupam Asuraha is that, put a F. Ramya Rupam Asurah Pulaka Vritangahar Bhaktya Sametya Sukruti Parinijya Padau, comma, Tattoyam Anvadhrita Murdhani Tirtha Tirtham. And he's doing because of devotion, because of bhakti. Yeah, go ahead.
I have Paripujya. Is it Paripujya?
In the line,
The
third line.
Third line.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, can you just change it to Parinijya?
Parinijya. Thank you, sir.
Parinijya Padau.
Okay, thank you.
आनीतमाशुभृगुभिर्महसाभिभूतैः त्वां रम्यरूपमसुरः पुलकावृताङ्गः भक्त्या समेत्य सुकृती परिनिज्य पादौ तत्तोऽयमन्वधृतमूर्धनि तीर्थतीर्थम्.
आनीतिमाशुभृगुभिर्महसाभिभूतैः त्वां रम्यरूपमसुरः पुलकावृताङ्गः भक्त्या समेत्य सुकृती परिनिज्य पादौ तत्तोऽयमन्वधृतमूर्धनि तीर्थतीर्थम्. आनीतिमाशु
Sorry, Gayatri. Anitamashu.
Okay. आनीतमाशु भृगुभिर्मखसाभिभूतैः त्वां रम्यरूपमसुरः पुलकावृताङ्गः भक्त्या समेत्य सुकृती परिनिज्य पादौ तत्तोऽयमन्वधृतमूर्धनि तीर्थतीर्थम्.
आनीतमाशु भृगुभिर्महसाभिभूतैः त्वां रम्यरूपमसुरः पुलकावृताङ्गः भक्त्या समेत्य सुकृती परिनिज्य पादौ तत्तो यमन्वधृतमूर्धनि तीर्थतीर्थम् आनीतमाशु भृगभिर्महसाभिभूतैः त्वां रम्यरूपमुसुरः पुलकावृताङ्गः भक्त्या समेत्य सुकृती परिनिज्य पादौ तत्तो यमन्वधृतमूर्धनि तीर्थतीर्थम्
Stanza 10. प्रह्लादवंशजतया क्रतुभिर्द्विजेषु विश्वासतोऽनुतदिदं दितिजोऽपि लेभे यत्ते पदाम्बुगिरिशस्य शिरोभिलाल्यं स त्वं विभो गुरुपुरालय पालयेताः. See, Bhattacharya is saying, the son of Diti, which is Bali Maharaja, what has he done so special that the water which washes your feet, he is able to now sprinkle on his head? What has he done to get that bhagyam? He says either because he is the grandson of Prahlada. So Prahlada is the greatest of devotee of the Lord. So because he is the grandson of Prahlada, maybe he is blessed. Or because Kratubihi, or because he has performed 99 yajnas. So maybe he is blessed because of that. Or Dvijeshu. Dvija means one who's twice born. So twice born is anybody who is a Brahmana is twice born, because when they do the Upanayanam, they're supposed to have taken another birth. So he says maybe he takes care of all of these Brahmins or the holy men really well. So whatever, or any of these reasons or a combination of these reasons, Bali Maharaj is so blessed because he's now able to wash the feet of the Bhagavan directly and then sprinkle that water on his head. So with this Dasakam comes to an end. Oh Guru, Lord of Guruvayur, please eradicate all the ailments I have. प्रह्लाद वंश जतया क्रतुभिर द्विजेषु विश्वासतो नु तदिदं दितिजोपि लेभे यत्ते पदाम्बु गिरिशस्य शिरोभिलाल्यं स त्वं विभो गुरुपुरालय पालयेथाः. प्रह्लादवंशजतया क्रतुभिर्द्विजेषु विश्वासतोऽनुतदिदं दितिजोऽपि लेभे यत्ते पदाम्बुगिरिशस्य शिरोभिलाल्यं स त्वं विभो गुरुपुरालय पालयेताः.
प्रह्लादवंशजतया क्रतुभिर्द्विजेषु विश्वासतोऽनुददितं दितिजोऽभिलेभे यत्ते पदाम्बुगिरिशस्य शिरोभिलाल्यं सत्वं विभो गुरुपुरालय पालयेदाः. प्रह्लादवंशजतया क्रतुभिर्द्विजेषु विश्वासतोऽनुददितं दितिजोऽपि लेभे यत्ते पदाम्बुगिरिशस्य शिरोभिलाल्यं सत्वं विभो गुरुपुरालय पालयेताः.
प्रह्लादवंशजतया क्रतुभिर्द्विजेषु विश्वासतोऽनुतदिदं दितिजोऽपि लेभे यत्ते पदाम्बुगिरिशस्य शिरोभिलाल्यं सत्वं विभो गुरुपुरालय पालयेताः. प्रह्लादवंशजतया क्रतुभिर्द्विजेषु विश्वासतोऽनुतदिदं दितिजोऽपि लेभे यत्ते पदाम्बुगिरिशस्य शिरोभिलाल्यं सत्वं विभो गुरुपुरालय पालयेथाः.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Okay, move to Dasakam 31. 31 is Bali Vidvamsanam, which is humbling the pride of Bali. So this one will follow the four-liner tune. Pritya Daityah Tavatanumah Prekshanat Sarvathapi Twamaradhyan Ajita Rachayan Anjalim Sanjaghatha Mattah Kim Te Samabhilashitam Viprasuno Vadatvam Vittam Bhaktam Bhavanamavanim Vapi Sarvam Pradhasye. So it's continuing from there. So with that, having seen this form of Vamana, Bali Maharaja then worshipped him in several ways, right? Washed his feet, prayed to him and all that stuff. And then he says, oh, you look like you're a young Brahmin boy. Bali Maharaja is saying, you look like a very young Brahmin boy. And first of all, thanks for coming to the sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yajna, that I'm actually doing. And this, this is getting blessed because of you being there. and looks like, me getting a chance to wash your feet has eradicated. I somehow feel a lot of energy and power in myself after I've actually washed your feet. And then he says, it looks like you have come here for something. You come for some purpose, right? Otherwise, maybe you come to bless the yajna, or maybe you want something, because when they do this yajna, they offer a lot of charity. So he must have thought, maybe you come here asking for something. So he says, whatever you want, you can ask from me, because you're such a Tejasvi. I'm just kind of, spellbound by you, right? He says, ask for whatever you want. He says, you want a cow, you want a house, you want, gold, you want food, water, or you want a wife, for a Brahmin wife to get married to. So whatever you want, horses, elephants, I will give it to you. So please tell me what you want, or if you want everything also, I'll give you everything. That's what Bali Maharaj is saying. So Pritya Daityaha. So remove that is, put a visarga comma, Daityaha. Tava Tanu Mahaha is there, put a F. Tanu Mahaf Prekshanat Sarvatapi, comma. Tvam Aradhyan Ajita, comma. Rachayan Anjalim Sanjagada. We'll do two lines. Pritya Daityaha Tavatanumah Prekshanat Sarvathapi Twamaradhyan Najita Rachayan Anjalim Sanjagada.
Should I say Rajesh ji or?
Yeah. Continue, yeah.
Okay. Pritya Daityaha Tavatanumah Prekshana Sarvatapi Twamaradhyan Najita Rasayan Anjalim Sanjagata.
Right, and this first line, Tanu Mahaha, you can put that F to join. Tanu Mahaf.
Okay. Pritya Daityaha Tava Manuh Prekshana Sarvatapi Twamaradhyan Najita Rasayan Anjalim Sanjagata.
The second line after Ajita, there is a pause, okay?
Okay, can you please repeat that?
Yeah, okay. Pritya Daityaha Tavatanu Mahaf Prekshanat Sarvatapi Twamaradhyan Najita Rachayan Anjalim Sanjagada.
Thank you, Rajesh.
प्रीत्या दैत्यः तव तनुमः प्रेक्षणात् सर्वथापि त्वामाराध्यन्नजित रचयन्नञ्जलिं सञ्जगाद प्रीत्या दैत्यः तव तनुमः प्रेक्षणात् सर्वथापि त्वामाराध्यन्नजित रचयन्नञ्जलिं.
It's two different words, Rachayan Anjalim. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So when it joins, it becomes double na.
Okay, so it's Rachayan Anjalim.
Yeah, when you say it together, it will be like okay.
Okay. Rachayan Anjalim Sanjagada.
Mattaha is there, put a ich sound. Mattah kimte samabhilashitam, comma. Viprasuno vadatvam, comma. Vittam bhaktam bhavanamavanim vapi, comma. Sarvam pradasye. Mattah kimte samabhilashitam viprasuno vadatvam vittam bhaktam bhavanamavanim vapi sarvam pradasye.
Rajesh ji,
Matta.
we are the third line. We have Vyaktam. Is it Vyaktam or Vyaktam or?
Instead of which line is it? Vittam
Vyaktam.
bhaktam.
Oh, it instead of Vittam, it says Vyaktam.
Oh, okay. Yeah, some books had Vyaktam there. Just change it to Vittam. Vittham. Vittam.
Yes, thank you.
And Pradashye, the last line is Pradashye, right?
Pradasye, dasye.
Okay. Matthav kim te samabhilashitam viprasuno vadatvam viktam bhaktam bhavanamavanim vapi sarvam pradashye. Matthav kim te samabhilashitam viprasuno vadatvam viktam bhaktam bhavanamavanim भवनमवनीं वापि सर्वं प्रदास्ये।
मत्तः किं ते समभिलषितं विप्रसूनो वदत्वं विक्तं भक्तं भवनमवनीं वापि सर्वं प्रदास्ये। मत्तः किं ते समभिलषितं विप्रसूनो वदत्वं विक्तं भक्तं भवनमवनीं वापि सर्वं प्रदास्ये।
That's two. तामक्षीणां बलिगिरमुपाकर्ण्य कारुण्यपूर्णोऽपि अस्योत्सेकं शमयितुमना दैत्यवंशं प्रशंसन् भूमिं पादत्रयपरिमितां प्रार्थयामासि तत्त्वं सर्वं देहीति तु निगदिते कस्य हास्यं न वा स्यात्. So when Bali came and said, you know what, ask me whatever you want. I'll give you any of these things, or I can even give you all of these things. So there are two things in the way Bali said it. One of it is it shows that he follows the right principles in terms of how to give something. When a Brahmana comes, a poor Brahmana comes, and you are a king who has a lot of wealth, then charity is extremely important. So you have to invite that Brahmana, worship that person because he's a very saint person, right? You worship him and then offer them whatever they need to take care of themselves. So he was doing the right things. At the same time, there was a sense of pride in the way Bali was telling because he has so much. He's a lord, almost becoming the lord of the three worlds. He's like, what do you want? I can give you anything you want. There's also a pride element in there. So first, Vamana then thanks Bali, saying, you know what you said is you absolutely spoken as per the right religious principles of offering Brahmins something. And you are indeed great because you're followed by, you have advised by Shukracharya, all of those things, plus you're also the descendant of Prahlada. So naturally you'll have a thing in you, behavior in you to be able to worship learned people, right? And he says no one in your family itself, in your generation so far, has been poor minded or miserly. They've always had wealth and they've been always willing to give money to people and give things to people. So you're continuing to do that, right? So they're continuing to do charity and everything. So the Lord praised Bali, saying all you're doing is the right thing. However, he says, I don't want, because all I need, he says, is bhumim pada traya parimitam. He says, but I don't need all of those things. I only need a land that is occupied by 3 of my feet, my 3 feet of land, based on my feet, because that's all I need. I don't need anything else. Because Bhattatipat says, oh, Narayana, you could have asked for everything because Bali is offering you everything. You could have said, okay, give me everything. Because the moment you say that, then people will start laughing at you. That's why it says Kasya Hasyam. People will start ridiculing because you are a small Brahmin boy. You should not have all this greed in you of going and ask. Just because Bali is giving, you can't say, okay, give me everything, right? So you did not ask for everything. You only asked for 3 feet of land because you are a small Brahmin boy. You should contain yourself of what you are asking for. So Tam Akshinam Bali Giram Upakarnya, Karunya Purnopi. We're going to break that next line. So Karunya Purnopi, put a short P and comma. Next word, the Pya, the Pya, Pya that you have becomes a. So Asyotsekam Shamayitumana, comma, Daitya Vamsham Prashamsan. तामक्षीणां बलिगिरमुपाकर्ण्य कारुण्यपूर्णोऽपि अस्योत्सेकं शमयितुमना दैत्यवंशं प्रशंसन्.
तामक्षीणां बलिगिरमुपाकर्ण्य कारुण्यपूर्णोऽपि अस्योत्सेकं समयितु मना दैत्यवंशं प्रशंसन्. तामक्षीणां बलिगिरमुपाकर्ण्य कारुण्यपूर्णोऽपि अस्योत्सेकं समयितु मना दैत्यवंशं प्रशंसन्. Sorry.
तामक्षीणां बलिगिरमुपाकर्ण्य कारुण्यपूर्णोऽपि अस्योत्सेकं शमयितुमना दैत्यवंशं प्रशंसन् तामक्षीणां बलिगिरमुपाकर्ण्य कारुण्यपूर्णोऽपि अस्योत्सेकं शमयितुमना दैत्यवंशं प्रशंसन्
भूमिं पादत्रय परिमितां प्रार्थयाम् आसित त्वं सर्वं देहीति तु निगदिते कस्य हास्यं न वा स्यात् भूमिं पादत्रयपरिमितां प्रार्थयामासित त्वं सर्वं देहीति तु निगदिते कस्य हास्यं न वा स्यात्
भूमिं पादत्रयपरिमितां मासीदत्वं सर्वं देहीति तु निगदिते कस्य हास्यं न वा स्यात् भूमिं पादत्रयपरिमितां मासीदत्वं सर्वं देहीति तु निगदिते कस्य हास्यं न वा स्यात्
भूमिं पादत्रयपरिमितां प्रार्थयामासिथ त्वं सर्वं देहीति तु निगदिते कस्य हास्यं न वा स्यात् भूमिं पादत्रयपरिमितां प्रार्थयामासिथ त्वं सर्वं देहीति तु निगदिते कस्य हास्यं न वा स्यात्.
Okay, we'll switch. Okay. Radha, you can be a student, and Shashi, you can be a student. Actually, stanza 3. विश्वेशं मां त्रिपदमिह किं याचसे बालिशस्त्वं सर्वां भूमिं वृणु किममुनेत्यालपत्वां सदृप्यन् यस्मादर्पात् त्रिपदपरिपूर्त्य क्षमः क्षेपवादान् बन्धं चासावगमत् अतदर्होऽपि गाढोपशान्त्यै. So when the Lord says, all I need is just 3 feet of my land, right? So Bali Maharaja was at the peak because he had performed 99 Ashwamedha Yajnas. One more, he becomes the Indra, and he had already conquered a lot of people, Deva. So he was almost going to become the ruler of the 3 worlds. So he says, Bali Maharaja says, "Oh Brahmana, you look like a very wise person. That's why I thought you were such a Tejasvi. I welcomed you and I did all these things. And I am telling you, I can give you whatever you want, right? And I'm literally the ruler of the 3 worlds right now, right?" So he says, it's an insult to me when you just come to me, and especially when I'm telling you, I'll give you whatever you want, that you come and ask for just 3 feet of land, the 2 of your small feet, right? He says it's like an insult to me, right? Because you should be asking for something big. And Bali says, my rule is, and I am giving charity to somebody, that person should not have to beg anymore at all in his life. So that's what gives me pride, because I'm willing to give you whatever you want, right? I don't want you going begging anymore. So he says it's a little bit of an insult to me that you're only asking for these things, right? In fact, I can give you an entire land, island, or whatever you want. He says I can give you an entire earth. I can give you, because that is the amount of power I have of controlling over all these worlds. So that is a pride that is there in Bali Maharaja, which eventually will lead to him not able to even give 3 feet of land, right? So, but the idea of this whole thing, and we'll cover it a little bit at the end, was so that it's not that Bali Maharaja deserved all these things, right? But it was for him to get complete detachment from all, because he was so attached and he had so much pride in what he possessed that he thought it was all his, and he could then dictate and give people whatever he wants. So that was the whole purpose of this. What he's going to undergo right now is so that he gets eliminated from that bondage, right? And develops complete detachment from all these material things. Otherwise, he's a great soul, great personality, Bali. And we'll see what happens to him anyways. So Vishwesham Mam Tripada Mihakim, Yachase Balishastvam. He says, you prove to me that you are just a simple boy because you don't know what to ask for, right? So, Yachase Balishastvam, Sarvam Bhumim Brinu, Himamunet Yalapatwam. So you cannot break that word. So you have to say the whole word together. Himamunet Yalapatwam Sadripyan. Vishwesham Mam Tripadamiha Kim Yachase balishastvam sarvam bhumim brinu kimamunetyalapatvam sadripyan.
विश्वेशं मां त्रिपदमिह किं याचसे बालिशस्त्वं सर्वां भूमिं वृण किममुनेत्यालपत्वां सदृप्यन्.
Rather, after that brinu, in the second line, there is a pause, okay? After second line, after brinu, yeah.
Okay. विश्वेशं मां त्रिपदमिह किं याचसे बालिशस्त्वं सर्वां भूमिं वृणु किममुनेत्यालपत्वां सदृप्यन्.
विश्वेशं मां त्रिपदमिह किं याचसे बालिशस्त्वं सर्वां भूमिन् वृणु किममुनेत्यालपत्वां सतृप्यन्. विश्वेशं मां त्रिपदमिह किं याचसे बालिशस्त्वं सर्वां भूमिं वृणु किममुनेत्यालपत्वां सतृप्यन्.
Yasmad darpat, comma, tripada paripurtya shamaha. So that visarga you have to say because ksha is coming later. So paripurtya shamaha kshepavadan, comma, bandam chasa vagamat. So the that is there, we'll break it. Put the it first. Chasa vagamat, comma. Next word will start with the a. Atha dharhopi gadopashantye. Yasmadarpat tripada paripurtya kshamaha kshepavadan bandham chasa vagamat atha dharhopi gadopashantye.
यस्माद्धर्पात् त्रिपद, right?
Tripada.
यस्माद्धर्पात् त्रिपदपरिपूर्त्य क्षमः क्षेपवाधान् बन्धं चासा वगमत् अदहर्वोऽपि गाढोपशान्त्ये. यस्माद्धर्पात् त्रिपदपरिपूर्त्य क्षमः क्षेपवाधन् बन्धं चासा वगमत् अदहर्वोऽपि गाढोपशान्त्ये.
And the last line, atha darhopi. Atha darhopi gadopashantye.
अदर्होऽपि गाढोपशान्त्ये.
Correct.
यस्मादर्पात् त्रिपदपरिपूर्त्य क्षमः क्षेपवादान् बन्धं चासावगमत् अतदर्होऽपि गाढोपशान्त्यै. यस्मादर्पात् त्रिपदपरिपूर्त्य क्षमः क्षेपवादान् बन्धं चासावगमत् अतदर्होऽपि गाढोपशान्त्यै.
Stanza 4. पादत्रय्या यदि न मुदितो विष्टपैर्नापि तुष्येत इत्युक्तेऽस्मिन् वरद भवते दातु कामे ततोऽयं दैत्याचार्यः तव खलु परीक्षार्थिनः प्रेरणार्थं मामाधेयं हरिरयमिति व्यक्तमेवाभभाषे. So when Bali says, you are like a simpleton, you really do, I thought you were a great person, but you are a small, very basic, very young boy who doesn't know what to ask. So at that time, Vamana responds saying, if a person in this world does not have his senses under control, so the 5 senses that we have, and the mind as a 6th. So if you do not have the senses under control, then no matter what that person gets, he's never going to be satisfied in this world, in his life. Right? Because he has to control the senses. It's not what he gets that dictates how he feels. It's just controlling his senses that will dictate how he feels. Says if a person is not satisfied with 3 feet of land, then even possessing anything else, 7 islands, which is the entire world, he says it's not going to make him happy. He's still going to feel unhappy because he doesn't have control over his senses. That's number 1. Second, he says, everybody in this world will only get what he's destined to get. You cannot change the destiny. So if I'm destined to get something, I'm only going to get that. So just because you're going to offer doesn't mean I'm going to end up getting it. So he says, so yes, I don't want any of that. I only want 3 feet of land because I'll be able to control myself. I'll be able to, I'll be still happy, right? With just possessing 3 feet of land, and I don't need 3 worlds. That's what Vamana says. So at that time, it says very nicely that the Lord Bhagavan then prompts Shukracharya, to test Bali. So Shukracharya then suddenly comes to realization who this is. So Shukracharya then goes and tells Bali, saying, this is not an ordinary Brahmin who is the form of a dwarf, right? This is Hari Rayamiti. This is the Lord Hari himself who has come, right? He has been born to Kashyapa and Aditi. He's come here to take everything that you actually have, right? That's the purpose of him coming here. She says, Ma Dheyam. He says, do not give him what he's asking for. Because the moment you give him what he's asking for, you are going to be completely gone, O Bali Maharaja. Right? He says, so Shukracharya strongly advises him, saying, do not give this boy what he's asking for. He's Hari himself. He says, Shukracharya then also says, you might be wondering, because you told him, I will give you whatever you want, you are now obligated to give him because you can't take back your word. He says you have not quite when you are when you're offering something to the priest in the temple, or when somebody comes to do puja, right? You put it in a plate and then you put a drop of water on that. That is to confirm that you are giving it. Okay, and then you say Om and then you give it. That is saying confirm. Shukracharya says you haven't quite done that. You only set a verbal commitment. You haven't done a full commitment of offering water and saying Om. So you can still retract back what you said. It's not wrong. According to religious principle, you can still retract back, right? That's what Shukracharya tells. Do not do this. You're getting tricked into this, right? So pada traya yadina mudito, comma, vishtapair napi tushyet. Put a it at the end of that line. Tushyet. Next line, the D that you have becomes a E. Ityuktesmin varada, comma, bhavate dhatu kameta toyam. Padatraya yadina mudito vishtapairnapi tushyet ityuktesmin varada bhavate dhatu kameta toyam.
Vadatraya yadina mudito vishtapairnapi tushtet ityuktesmin varada bhavate dhatu kameta toyam.
So rather on the second line after varada, the pauses, okay.
Padatraya yadina mudito vishtapairnapi tushtet ityuktesmin varada bhavate dhatu kameta toyam.
Padatraya yadina mudito vishtapainapi tushyet ityuktesmin varada bhavate dhatu kameta toyam. Padatraya yadina mudito vishtapainapi tushyet ityuktesmin varada bhavate dhatu kameta toyam.
Daityacharyaha, that is there, remove it, visarga, comma. Tava khalu parikshartinaha, put a F to join, parikshartinah preranatham, comma, ma deyam harirayamiti, comma, vyaktam eva bhabhashe. Daityacharyaha tava khalu parikshartinah preranatham ma deyam harirayamiti vyaktameva bhabhashe.
Daityacharya tava kalu parikshartinah prenanartham mama deyam harirayamiti vyaktameva bhabhashe.
The third line, parikshartinah preranatham.
Parikshartinah preranatham.
Yeah.
Daityacharya tava kalu parikshartinah preranatham mama deyam harirayamiti व्यक्तमेवाभभाषे
दैत्याचार्यः तव खलु परीक्षार्थिनः प्रेरणार्थं मामादेयं हरिदयमिति व्यक्तम् एव बभाषे दैत्याचार्यः तव खलु परीक्षार्थिनः प्रेरणार्थं मामादेयं हरिदयमिति व्यक्तम् एव बभाषे
याचत्येवं यदि स भगवान् पूर्णकामोऽस्मि सोऽहं दास्यामेव स्थिरमिति वदन् काव्यशब्दोऽपि दैत्यः विन्ध्यावल्या निजदयितया दत्तपाध्याय तुभ्यं चित्रं चित्रं सकलमपि स प्रार्पयत्तोयपूर्वम्. So when Shukracharya says you're making a big mistake, Bali, this is Hari himself who has come here. He's come with the sole purpose of tricking you out of everything you have, right, to support the Devas. So Bali then listened to whatever Shukracharya had to say. And then he says, I am in the lineage of Prahlada, right? How can I take back my word? Even though I might not have poured the water and given an official confirmation, I've still said something. So I cannot take back my word. I cannot be a cheater, especially towards a Brahmana, by being greedy of not giving my wealth, right? And then he says, all you saintly people who are here, you are performing all these Vedic sacrifices for, making Bhagavan happy, making Lord Vishnu happy or Narayana happy. If the Lord Narayana himself is coming here and asking for something from me, how can I not give? Because that you are doing all these prayers, right? Oops. So I think my laptop suddenly. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, my thing completely blacked out. Okay, I'm back now. So what he's saying is, you are all doing all these prayers, you're doing all these yajnas to please Narayana. That Narayana you are saying has come in front of me. How can I now not give him what he wants? Right? Because that's what you're doing all this for. So it's such a blessing. And if this Narayana wants to take everything I have, so be it. Right? What is wrong in that? Right? And if this Narayana is coming disguised in the form of a Brahmana and is begging for alms from me, even if I treat him as just a Brahmin, not even that Narayana, he's a Brahmin who's begging for alms. I am going to give him everything he wants. Right? Plus, you are saying he's Narayana himself. So he says, what more do I need? Right? That's how Bali Maharaja thinks. He says, even though he knows he's going to lose everything he has, he knows that. He says, but if the Lord is coming and asking, it is all his. I'm completely okay giving everything that belongs to him, because that's what we are offering into the homam anyway, saying this is yours. So he says, there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing this. So at that time, Shukracharya gets very upset. He says, you are not listening. You're going to lose everything. I'm telling you so many times, and you're still, so I'm not going to be able to help you anymore. Shukracharya says, I'm walking away because I'm telling you not to do, you're still going to be doing it. But Bali says, that's totally fine, right? You walk away, I'm still going to give whatever Bhagavan wants. He's come asking, I'm going to give it to him. So with that, he and then his wife, because that, Vindhya Valya, that's the name of his wife. So both of them officially, kind of like we said, they take a plate, tambulam, they sprinkle some water and they say Om, and then they give it to Vamana, saying, you want 3 feet of land, you'll get 3 feet of land, right? That's what I'm giving it to you. This is Chitram Chitram. So everybody is like praising Bali, saying, although he knows he's going to lose everything, he's not concerned about it because he knows he's doing the right thing at this time. So Yachat Yevam Yadisa Bhagavan, Purna Kamosmi Soham, Dasyameva Stiramiti Vadan, Kavya Shaptopi Daityaha. Yachatyevam yadi sa Bhagavan Purnakamo'smi soham dasyameva stiramiti vadan kavya shaptopi daityaha.
याचत्येवं यदि स भगवान् पूर्णकामोऽस्मि सोऽहं दास्याम्येव स्थिरमिति वदन् काव्यशक्त्योऽपि दैत्यः याचत्येवं यदि स भगवान् पूर्णकामोऽस्मि सोऽहं दास्याम्येव स्थिरमिति वदन् काव्यशक्तोऽपि दैत्यः.
याचत्येवं यदि स भगवान् पूर्णकामोऽस्मि सोऽहं दास्याम् एव स्थिरमिति वदन् काव्यशब्दोऽपि दैत्यः याचत्येवं यदि स भगवान् पूर्णकामोऽस्मि सोऽहं दास्याम् एव स्थिरमिति वदन् काव्यशब्दोऽपि दैत्यः
विन्द्यावल्या निज दयितया दत्तपाद्याय तुभ्यं चित्रं चित्रं सकलमपि स प्रार्पयत् तोय पूर्वम् विन्ध्यावल्या निजदयितया दत्तपाध्याय तुभ्यं चित्रं चित्रं सकलमपि स प्रार्पयत् तोय पूर्वम्
विन्ध्यावल्या विन्ध्यावल्या निजदयितया दत्तपाध्याय तुभ्यं चित्रं चित्रं सकलमपि स प्राप्योत तोय पूर्वं
प्रार्पयत् लास्ट वर्ड प्रार्पयत् तोय
प्रार्पयत् प्रार्पयत् विन्ध्यावल्या निजदयितया दत्तपाध्याय तुभ्यं चित्रं चित्रं सकलमपि स प्राप्रयात् तोय पूर्वम्.
Try that line, last word again. Prarpayat.
Yath illenga. Okay. Prarpayat toya purvam.
Correct.
Thank you.
विन्ध्यावल्या निजदयितया दत्तपाद्याय तुभ्यं चित्रं चित्रं सकलमपि स प्रार्पयत् तोय पूर्वं विन्ध्यावल्या निजदयितया दत्तपाद्याय तुभ्यं चित्रं चित्रं सकलमपि स प्रार्पयत् तोय पूर्वम्
Stanza 6. Nissandeham ditikulapatho त्वय्यशेषार्पणं तद्व्यातन्वाने मुमुचुर्षयः सामराः पुष्पवर्षं दिव्यं रूपं तव च तदितं पश्यतां विश्वभाजाम् उच्चैः अवृदवधीकृत्य विश्वाण्डभाण्डम्. So when you're giving charity, you should not hesitate. You should not think, am I actually giving more? Am I giving enough? You should not hesitate. Especially you should not hesitate saying, am I by mistake offering more than what I'm supposed to offer, right? So similarly here, Bali is nissandeham. He doesn't even have an ounce of doubt of what he's doing, right? So he says, you want 3 feet of land, you're going to take everything, take it, right? That's what I'm offering to you as charity. So at the time when Bali offers that, agrees and offers it, at that time, this Vamana form of the Lord then becomes the Trivikrama form of the Lord, which is starts becoming bigger and bigger. And then what was Vamana then became such a huge form that we saw the Virat Purusha in stanza in Dasakam 6, where you saw the entire 3 worlds are within the Lord and the body parts of the Lord, right? Kind of manifested in that form. So it became that size that everything in the Vishwanda Bhandam, the entire cosmos, was inside the body of the Lord. That is the size of the body that the Lord became, Bhagavan became. So when he started growing in size, as people are seeing, right, keeps on becoming bigger and bigger. And now Bali is able to see that this has now gone and taken off the entire cosmos, and he is now able to see the Virat form of the Lord, and he is able to see the Rasathala and all of that Patala at the bottom of the feet of the Lord. That is how big the form becomes. So Nissandeham Diti Kulapathau, Tvaya Shesharpanam Tad, put a plus, Vyatanvane, and then a comma. So that will go together, and after Vyatanvane, comma, Mumuchur Rishayaha, is there put a is, Rishayas, Samaraha, put a F, Samarah, Pushpavarsham. So everybody is off showering flowers. Nissandeham ditikulapatau त्वय्यशेषार्पणं तद्व्यातन्वाने मुमुचुर्षयः सामराः पुष्पवर्षम्.
निस्सन्देहं दितिकुलपतं त्वय्यशेषार्पणं तद्व्यातन्वाने मुमुचुर् ऋषयः सामरः पुष्पवर्षं निस्सन्देहं दितिकुलपतं त्वय्य शेषार्पणं तद्व्यातव्याने मुमुचुर् ऋषयः सामरः पुष्पवर्षम्
निस्सन्देहं दितिकुलपतौ त्वय्यशेषार्पणं तद्व्यातन्वाने मुमुचुर्ऋषयः सामराः पुष्पवर्षं निस्सन्देहं दितिकुलपतौ त्वय्यशेषार्पणं तद्व्यातन्वाने मुमुचुर्ऋषयः सामराः पुष्पवर्षम्
Divyam Rupam Tavacha Tadidam, comma, Pashyatam Vishwabhajam, put a im at the end of that line, comma, Vishwabhajam. Next line, the mu becomes u. Uchair, Uchaihi. The ra that is coming, we'll remove it, put a visarga, comma. Uchair, Uchaihi, comma. The next word starts with the a. So the way to break it is avridhat avadhikritya. If you want to break it, it's easier that way. Avridhat avadhikritya vishwanda bhandam. Divyam rupam tavacha tadidham pashyatam vishwabhajam uchair uchaihi avridhat avadhikritya vishwanda bhandam.
दिव्यं रूपं तव च तदिदं पश्यतां विश्वभाजाम् उच्चैर्मुष्यैर् अवृधत् अधिकृत्य विश्वाण्डभाण्डम्.
Rather than the next fourth line, Uchair Uchaihi Visarga. Okay.
Uच्चैर्
Avridhat
there is
Avadhi.
no after that.
The ra becomes a Visarga and a. So Uchair Uchaihi Avridhat Avadhi Kritya.
Avadhi. Okay. Sorry. दिव्यं रूपं तव च तदिदं पश्यतां विश्वभाजाम् उच्चैः
Avridhat.
the visarga, there is a visarga there, right?
Yeah, correct.
Uच्चैः अवृधत् अवधीकृत्य विश्वाण्डभाण्डम्.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
दिव्यं रूप I'm sorry. दिव्यं रूपं तव च तदिदं पश्यतां विश्वभाजाम् उच्चैर्मुच्चैः अवधीकृत्य विश्वाण्डभाण्डम् दिव्यं रूपं तव च तदिदं पश्यतां विश्वभाजाम् उच्चैर्मुच्चैः अवधीकृत्य विश्वाण्डभाण्डम्.
Enter 7. त्वत्पादाग्रं निजपदगतं पुण्डरीकोद्भवोऽसौ कुण्ठीतोह्यैः असिचदपुनाद्यज्जलं विश्वलोकान् हर्षोत्कर्षात् सुबहुननृते केचरैरुत्सवेऽस्मिन् भेरीं निघ्नन् भुवनमचरज्जाम्बवान् भक्तिशाली. So with the first step, now, don't ask me how is this possible, because as an incarnation of the Lord, anything is possible. So with the first step, what he does is Vamana then occupies everything which is in the earth and the lower planes. He kind of occupies with 1 feet. With the second feet, he then puts it on all the heavenly planets. So all the Satyaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, all of those are occupied with the second feet. And it's such a way that the tip of your feet reaches Satyaloka, where Brahma is sitting, to the extent that Brahma now takes water from his Kamandalu and washes the feet of the Lord, because it has reached Satyaloka, where Brahma is sitting. That's where the tip of the feet, one of the second feet, reaches. So when then Brahma then does it, he says that water which purified the feet of the Lord in Vamana Avataram as Trivikrama from Brahma's Kamandalu becomes this Akash Ganga, which is Ganga is not just in this earth. Ganga is also in the other, like I said, like Dharmara, it's also there in the heavenly planets. So that becomes the Akash Ganga, which then flows on to the earth, right? As Ganga. That's why Ganga is pure. because that is the water which came from washing the feet of Trivikrama when Brahma washed it. So that's the second step. The Vamana then goes and occupies the entire outer space. So with that, what do you call, everybody is then the Gandharvas, everybody is like, dancing and are all happy. And Jambavan, it's another mention of Jambavan. So Jambavan just comes in Ramayana. Jambavan comes like Parashurama, he come across multiple avatars. So here also Jambavan is there. So Jambavan is Bhaktishali. He's so devoted to you. He's then, also happily going around, praising you and then singing about you. He was also there in the Kurma Avataram and Vamana. He's also there in Kurma Avataram. He's there in Vamana Avataram. He's going to come again in Rama Avataram. He's going to come again in Krishna Avataram also. Right? So he's going to be there across all of these things. So Tvat Padagram Nija Padagatam, comma, Pundari Kodbhavo Sau, one word, comma, Kundi Toyehi. So the R that is there, put a visarga, comma, Toyehi. Next word starts with a A. So the next word, the way you can break it is, I'll break it into 3 parts, but you can also say it together if you're able to. Asichat Apunad Yajjalam. Asichat Apunad Yajjalam Vishwalokan. Okay. So just say one time, Radha and Shashireka, because we may not have time.
Okay.
Tvatpadagram Nijapadagatam Pundarikoodbhavosau Kundhitoyehi Asichad Apunad Yajjalam Vishwalokan.
Tvatpadagram Nijapadaгаtam Pundarikoodbhavosau Kundhitoyehi Asichad Apunadhyajjalam Vishwalokan.
Tvatpadagram Nijapadag.
Just one time, yeah, go ahead.
Tvatpadagram Nijapadagatam Pundarikoodbhavosau Kunditoyehi Asichat Apunadyajjalam Vishwalokan.
Harshotkarshat, comma, Subhahu Nandruthe Kecharair Utsavesmin. The Ru you can make it Irran U Kecharair Utsavesmin, comma, Bherim Nignan, comma, Bhuvanam Acharaj Jambavan Bhaktishali. Harshotkarshat Subahu Nandrute Kecharair Utsavesmin Bherim Nignan Bhuvanamacharaj Jambavan Bhaktishali.
Harshotkarshat Subahunanrute Kecharai Utsavesmin Berim Nigdhan Bhuvanamacharam Jambhavan Bhaktashali.
The last line, Bhuvanam Acharaj Jambavan.
Bhuvanam Acharaj Jambhavan.
Harshotkarshat Subahunandrute Kecharair Utsavesmin Bherim Nignan Bhuvanam Acharaj Jambavan Bhaktishali.
That's 8. Tavat Daityastvanumati Bharturarabdha Yuddhaha Devopetair Bhavadanucharaihi Sangata Bhangamapan Kalhatmayam Vasati Purato Yadvashat Pragjita Smaha Kimvo Yuddhairiti Baligira Tetapatha Lamapuhu. So at the time, when the Lord took this size, so all these asuras who were there, without any permission from Bali, they felt like, all my master's things are getting taken away. They all start attacking, the Lord and some of his emissaries, Bhagavan's emissaries who were there. So Bali says, what are you trying to do here? What is the use of attacking this person, right? This is the Lord himself who has complete control over time is standing in front of us. So instead of praying to this Lord, what is the use of trying to attack him? Right. So with that, Bali then tells all his asuras to kind of come back and not to try to fight against his battles. This is nothing. This is not something you're going to fight and win. Right. You have to just surrender to this. There's no use fighting here. So Tavat Daityas Tvanu Mathimrite, comma, Bhartur Arabdha, you can break at that ra. Bhartur Arabdha Yuddhaha, comma. Devo Petair Bhavadanucharaihi. That is there. Put a visarga, comma. Bhavadanucharaihi. Sangata Bhangamapan. तावद्धैत्यास्त्वनुमतिमृते भर्तुरारब्धयुद्धाः देवोपेतैर्भवदनुचरैः सङ्घता भङ्गमापन्
तावद्दैत्यास्तनुमतिमृते भर्तुरारब्धयुद्धाः देवोपेत्यै परदवदनुश्चरैः सङ्गता भङ्गमापन्.
rather than the first line, Bhartur Arabdha
तावद्दैत्यास्त्वनुमतिमृते भर्तुरारब्धयुद्धाः देवोपेतैर्भवदनुचरैः सङ्गता भङ्गमापन्न
कालात्मायं वसति पुरतो, यद्वशात् प्राग्जिताः, put is प्राग्जिताः स्मः, किं वो युद्धैरिति बलिगिरा, तेत पातालमापुः. He just sends his followers to Patalam, the asuras. कालात्मायं वसति पुरतो यद्वशात् प्राग्जिताः स्मः, किं वो युद्धैरिति बलिगिरा तेत पातालमापुः.
कालात्मायं वसति पुरतो यद्वशात् प्राग्जिताः स्मः, किं वो युद्धैरिति बलिगिरा तेत पातालमापुः.
कालात्मायं वसति पुरतो यद्वशात् प्राग्जिताः स्मः, किं वो युद्धैरिति बलिगिरा तेथ पातालमापुः.
That's 9. पाशैर्बद्धं पतगपतिना दैत्यमुच्चैरवादीः तार्तीकं दिश मम पदं किं न विश्वेश्वरोऽसि पादं मूर्ध्नि प्रणय भगवन् इत्यकम्पं वदन्तं प्रह्लादस्तं स्वयमुपगतो मानयन्नस्तवीत्वाम्. So at this time, so when the Bhagavan is then asking Bali, he came and took over the earth. He one step, earth and all the lower planets. Another one, he goes and takes off all the heavenly planets all the way up to Satyaloka. Then he said to Bali, where do I keep my 3rd feet? You offered to give me 3 feet of land, right? I only occupied 2 feet so far. So where do I keep the 3rd feet? Right? There's no place left, right? And he said, you are the one who said that you will give me whatever I want. You will give me 3 feet. You agreed to it. So now show me where the 3rd feet can be kept. He said, Kimna Vishweshwarosi. Didn't you say you are the Lord of all the 3 worlds? So now show me where can I put my 3rd feet. So he says, without any hesitation, like previously also Bali was willing to give anything. Even now he says, without any hesitation, he says, I have absolutely nothing left. I only have me left, right? Other than that, everything you have occupied. Now, technically, even Bali has been occupied when the Lord kept the feet on all the words. But he said, you haven't, but I'm still standing, right? So he says, Pranaya Padam Murdni Pranaya Bhagavan. He says, oh Lord, you can only keep your feet on my head because that is the only thing I have actually left right now. So with that, Bali says that, and then immediately when Bali says that, now Prahlada himself comes there and then praises Bali, saying, you have proven yourself to be the true devotee because you are not, you don't want to keep anything. You are offering everything to Bhagavan, right? So he says that is the learning here, right? He says with that the Lord then keeps his feet on Bali Maharaja's head, and with that Bali, and then we'll see what happens later. But anyway, he keeps his feet on his head. So Pashair Bhaddam Pata Gapatina, Daityam Uchaira Vadihi. Put a visarga, comma. Next line is goes away. Tarthi ekam disha mama padam, kim na vishweshwarosi. Pashair-baddham patagapatina daityam uchaira vadhihi Tarti disha mama padam kim na vishveshwarosi.
पार्श्वैर्बद्धं पदगतपदिना मुच्चुर्रवादीः
Daitya muchairavadihi.
मुच्चैयात्
Muchairavadihi.
पार्श्वैर्बद्ध्वं पतगपतिना दैत्यमुच्चैर्यवादीः तार्तीयीकं दिश मम पदं किं नु न विश्वेश्वरोऽसि
पाशैर्बद्धं पतगपतिना दैत्यम् उच्चैरवादीः तर्तीयेकं दिश मम पदं किं न विश्वेश्वरोऽसि.
Shashirika, second line, first one. Tarti ekam.
I have it as that. Okay, thank you.
Padam Murdni Pranaya Bhagavan. You have a double na and a e there, ni. First make it in. Bhagavan, comma. Next word starts with the e. Ityakampam Vadantam, comma. Prahladastam Swayam Upagato, comma. Manayan Nastavit Swam. So it and double it coming there. Manayan Nastavit Swam. Padham Murtni Pranaya Bhagavan Ityakampam Vadantam Prahladastam Swayamupagato Manayan Nastavitvam.
पादं मूर्ध्नि प्रणय भगवन् इत्यकम्पं वदन्तं प्रह्लादस्तं स्वयमुपगतो என்னது
Double na is there, right? So Manayan Nastavitvam.
मानयन्नस्त्ववित्वाम्
पादं मूर्ध्नि प्रणय भगवन् इत्यकम्पं वदन्तं प्रह्लादस्त्वं स्वयमुपगतो मानयन्नस्तवित्वाम्.
That's it. Darpo chitye vihitamakilam daitya siddhosi punyaihi lokaste stutridiva vijaihi vasavatvam cha paschat matsayujyam bhajasa punaretyanva grinna balim tam viprai santanitamakavarah pahi vathasayesha. And then Bhagavan says to Bali, all this was done for two reasons. One, because you were very possessive of your things, right? You felt like you had the whole three worlds under your control. So it was kind of to remove that material attachment that the first two steps were taken. The first two steps were to take everything that Bali has, all the possession that Bali has. Third step was taken to actually remove the ego that Bali has, that he has everything, he can give everything to anyone who wants. That ego that he had, he says the third step of keeping it on your head was to remove your ego, right? But he says, however, you are a very saintly person, Bali. You are a descendant of Prahlada. You have done all the right things. You have done all these yajnams. You have everything. You only had two problems. You are very possessive of your material things and you had a strong ego. So that's what this was, to remove all of that. She says, however, don't worry. You are going to go to the Suthala region and there you're going to rule that region. And that's going to become like heaven because you are going to be the ruler there. In the next Manvantara, so after the 7th, 8th Manvantara, when that happens, you will then become Indra. Because Bali was now going to do the 100th, right? He would have become Indra at this time. She says, you won't become Indra right now. You go to Sutala, you rule it. Then then the Lord himself helps Bali complete the sacrifice that was started. He says, I'll help you complete the sacrifice. And in your next birth, you will then become the Indra in the 8th Manvantara, right? That will happen. With that, this Dashakam comes to an end. So, Darpochitye Vihita Makhilam, comma, Daitya Siddhosi Punyehi. Put a Visargan comma there, Punyehi. Next line on top of the lo, there is a ir that will go away. Lokastestu Tridiva Vijayi, comma, Vasavatvam cha Paschat. You can say two times now. Darpo Chitye Vihita Makhilam दैत्य सिद्धोऽसि पुण्यैः लोकस्ते स्तुत्रिदिव विजयी वासवत्वं च पश्चात्
दर्पोच्छित्तै विहितमखिलं दैत्यसिद्धोऽसि पुण्यैः लोकस्ते स्तुत्रिदेव विजयी वासवत्वं च पश्चात् दर्पोच्छित्तै विहितमखिलं दैत्यसिद्धोऽसि पुण्यैः लोकस्ते स्तुत्रिदव विजयी वासवत्वं च पश्चात्
Second line त्रिदिव विजयी
तत्पोचित्यै विहितमखिलं दैत्यसिद्धोऽसि पुण्यैः लोकस्ते स्तुत्रिदिव विजयी वासवत्वं च पश्चात् तत्पोचित्यै विहितमखिलं दैत्यसिद्धोऽसि पुण्यैः लोकस्ते स्तुत्रिदिव विजयी वासवत्वं च पश्चात्
मत्सायुज्यं भजस भजच पुनरित यन्वगृह्णा. That's one word, you cannot break it. पुनरित यन्वगृह्णा बलिं तं comma विप्रैस् संतानित मख वरः comma पाहि वातालयेश. मत्सायुज्यं भजस भज च पुनरित यन्वगृह्णा बलिं तं विप्रैः सन्तानितमखवरः पाहि वातालयेश.
मत्स्यायुज्यं भज च पुनरित्यगृह्णान् बलिं त्वं विप्रैः सन्तानित मकवरः पाहि वातालयेश.
Rather, the first line, third line, matsa, not there's no ya sound. Matsayujyam.
मत्सायुज्यं भज च पुनरित्यगृह्णान् बलिं त्वं विप्रैः सन्तानित मखवर पाहि वातालयेश.
A third line, thum, it finishes, not twam. Okay, I heard like a twam sound. Balim tam. Okay.
बलिन्तं
मत्सायुज्यं मत्सायुज्यं भज च पुनरित्यन्वगृह्णा बलिं तं विप्रैः सन्तानितमखवरः. I forgot where the comma is.
Makavaraha, that visarga and then comma there.
Okay. विप्रैः सन्तानितमखवरः वरः पाहि वातालयेश. Is it varaha or
Varaha, and then we put a comma there.
Okay. मत्सायुज्यं भज च पुनरित्यन्वगृह्णा बलिं तं विप्रैः सन्तानितमखवरः पाहि वातालयेश.
Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha.
I was doing that mistake. Varaha. Vara answer. Varaha. Varaha. Okay.
We'll end the class here today. Sandhanandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurupurusharthatmakam brahmatattvam tattavadbhati sakshat gurupavanapure hanta bhagyam janana कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.